So we're going to have, in my view, the war is going to end someday. And when it does, we'll have a big rally in the markets because people are not so worried about central banks anymore. The central banks are scared. Have a big rally, and that's the last rally. And then we have a bear market, and we have the worst bear market in my lifetime, and which means we also have a bad economy. The debt, I mean, Adam, this may sound dramatic, but we had a bad market in 2008, 2009, bad economy. Since then, and that was because of too much debt. Adam, since then, the debt has skyrocketed. Can't even count how much the debt is up since then. So the next bear market has to be the worst in my lifetime. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you facts.
What is your current assessment of the global economy and financial markets right now?
Well, there are two different things. The economy is in the financial markets, but most economies are and continue to be reasonably strong because there was so much money printed and so much money borrowed and spent. And, you know, Adam, if you give me $1 trillion, I'll show you a very good time. And we're all having a very good time. I don't know how much longer it can last. It is leading to inflation, which is leading to higher interest rates. And then, of course, there's war as well. War has never been good for anybody except a few generals, but the rest of us suffer. So we're going to have, in my view, the war is going to end someday. And when it does, we'll have a big rally in the markets because people are not so worried about central banks anymore. The central banks are scared. Have a big rally, and that's the last rally. And then we have a bear market, and we have the worst bear market in my lifetime, and which means we also have a bad economy. The debt, I mean, Adam, this may sound dramatic, but we had a bad market in 2008, 2009, bad economy. Since then, and that was because of too much debt. Adam, since then, the debt has skyrocketed. Can't even count how much the debt is up since then. So the next bear market has to be the worst in my lifetime. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you facts. International medium of exchange is supposed to be neutral. You can use it for anything. You could buy drugs, buy your girlfriend a coat. You do whatever you want to with an international medium of exchange. But now, if Washington gets angry at you, they put sanctions on you and you cannot use it. So needless to say, lots of countries are saying, wait a minute, we got to find something else, because if America ever gets angry, we're in real trouble. So China, Russia, India, Brazil, Iran, many countries are now looking frantically, have been, but now it's accelerated, looking for something to compete with the US dollar. I don't like saying it, Adam, I'm an American, but I have to face facts. And what Washington is doing is ending the 100 years or so, or 80 years or so, that the US dollar has been the world's reserve currency. Not good for you, not good for me, certainly not good for our kids. My deeper concern is, and I know a lot of people who've made a lot of money trading crypto. Many computer currencies have disappeared already and gone to zero, as I'm sure you know. But everybody's working on it, including the US. All money is going to be on the computer eventually. It already is in China. In China, you cannot take a taxi with money, Chinese money. You cannot buy an ice cream with money in China. You have to have it on the computer. They're ahead of us, but everybody's going to be there. But when the US says, okay, Adam, this is money now, but if you want to use that money over there, you can use that money over there. That's not the way bureaucrats and politicians think. They want control, they want monopoly. I don't like it, but they love it. So that's why I have not, as long as cryptocurrencies are just trading vehicles, who cares? But if they become successful as money, as the bulls say, then I'm skeptical. The Chinese money is becoming more and more international every week. I mean, it's not a competitor to the US dollar yet, but it's certainly getting there. It's being forced. America is shooting itself in the foot and forcing people to use other currencies and other ways to trade and buy and sell. And as for oil, so, okay, the oil market is a gigantic international market. Somebody will buy that oil. It may not have a sign on it that says oil from Russia. It just may say oil.
Right.
Somebody will buy it if you give it the right price. Everybody needs oil. So sure, somebody's going to buy it. I'm not, because I don't need any oil, but somebody will.
Do you fear that Russia could potentially collapse economically here?
Well, anybody can collapse economically, and many have, and many will. But there are many studies that show that sanctions don't work. And
Mhm.
certainly in my own experience, they don't work. Maybe they work for a short period of time, but human beings are smart enough to figure out a way to get around sanctions.
You can
You
circumvent
know,
them. Yeah, is what you're saying.
yeah, whether it's legal or not, human beings find a way. And so sanctions have never really been very effective. We've had sanctions against Cuba for decades. They're still there. We've had Cuba sanctions against many people, many times, and they don't work. Politicians like it because they can go on TV and say, see, those are evil people, and I put sanctions on. I have saved the world.
Can the West afford to cut itself off from Russian supply? I mean, Russia is a top and sometimes the dominant provider of a lot of key commodities. And I'll just use one example here. Europe is heavily dependent upon Russia for a key essential, which is, heating energy. They import 28% of their oil from Russia, but they import, I think, 40% of their natural gas. Is this something that they can sustainably find other supply in time?
Adam, you're not old enough to remember the Cold War, but in the Cold War, Russia did nothing with anybody. Mm-hmm. And somehow Russia survived. Somehow they survived. It was absurd. It was a terrible place to be, and it was a terrible way to live. But Russia survived. And Russia's going to survive this as well, maybe in very, very bad circumstances, as they were, 40 years ago. But Russia will survive. There will be black markets. There are always black markets. Am I keen? No, of course I'm not keen. But I have seen enough countries go through this kind of stuff, and they always say to the people, Mother Russia. And the people say, yes, Mother Russia. We will support Mother Russia, or Mother whatever name you want to use. And people put up with it. It's crazy, but they do. And Russia will survive. Maybe not as we know it. And maybe Mr. Putin's getting older, so he's not going to survive forever, although he thinks he is. But so it will change. But even if it's blocked off for another 40 years, as it was under the communists, it'll survive and the world will survive. Many people right now are frantic because natural gas, much stuff that they use comes from Russia, and parts of the economy will have to close down. No, war is not very good for this war, especially is not very good for anybody, not even Mr. Putin. He's learning. And I suggest that the war will end probably sooner than we expect or hope. Because of that, the Europeans don't seem to be keen. Many Russians don't seem to be too keen. The Chinese are not jumping in and say, oh, more war, more war, more war. No, I suspect it will calm down because it is hurting a lot of people.